Man, what the hell is going on in Salisbury, North Carolina, y'all, man? We about to talk about this shit for sure. Let's go. Crazy Work Podcast. This your host, Big Slim. We got the beautiful TALAYSHIA VICK in the building. Today's episode is going to be something that we've never done before. This is going to be the first, and it's going to be a real touching topic. Y'all just bear with us, for this, the truth that's about to be spoken. You mind if we play the video? Get into the video?
Yep.
When I first started doing the social media, I was always talking about contaminated pulpits. And I did a lot of stories and had a lot of testimonies of people who would come on and talk about what happened to them being a PK kid or being in the church, things like that. Don't get me wrong, I'm not putting down the church. I'm just putting down who we allow in the church or in the pulpit. Back in 2023, when I was doing those stories, I met a guy, wonderful guy. I met a guy named Bill Haley. Yes, he is related to the great author of Roots. Bill started telling his story regarding what happened to him from his parents, how he was allowed to be violated, him and his sister, by different preachers and stuff. And this was allowed by his parents. He was violated, his sister was violated, and it just went on and on and on. But there was one name I remember him mentioning, and I always said the chickens are going to come home to roost one day. Well, the chickens have come home to roost. Let me introduce you to Bishop Michael Lee King. He's over there in Salisbury, North Carolina. He's the pastor of Damascus Emmanuel Pentecostal Church over there in Salisbury, North Carolina. And I'm finding out that the FBI has raided not only his church, but his house, his daughter's house, and I think also some of the businesses that they have. Michael Lee King was also, or is also, an attorney. And there's a lot of things that were happening over 30 years, 30 plus years. And Bill Haley talked about him specifically and some of his family. Unfortunately, my buddy Bill Haley passed away last year in 2024. It broke my heart, still breaks my heart, because he didn't get to get his story out completely, even though my wife is writing a book for him now. You know what I'm saying? She's still working on it. But his story needs to get out, along with a lot of y'all's stories. It needs to get out about what you went through with Michael Lee King. You see, a lot of things have been covered up for years. Kids coming into the house to stay there. They're going to these camps. They're going to this church and everything. They got to dress a certain way, act a certain way, talk a certain way. And a lot of things are not allowed to be discussed. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, it's time to speak up. It's time to tell your story. Inbox me. It's time to tell your story about what you endured as a child coming all the way up. Even those that are in the King family who were made to have children by your own kinfolk. And Bishop Michael Lee King told you then, I'm going to tell you now, the chickens have come home to roost.
That's really some sick shit, man. I don't know how to really even, I just want to say I salute you in the strength that you have, for real, for real. But I want to give you this opportunity to, explain from...
So, yeah. So, basically, that church, we were raised in that church from when we were babies. And I just remember, growing up there, and it was just nobody but family. And as I started growing older and I started to realize, okay, there's nobody else here. It's just us families that are here. There's nobody outside of our family here. And then there were a lot of kids that were there, but their parents wouldn't be there. So it was just kind of you kind of start realizing, you kind of start noticing things, and it's just it's giving cult,
Yeah, I was about to say that, yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm going to speak on what he just said with, just Bishop Michael Lee King in general. So my encounter with him, I was beat real bad one time, and to the point where my skin was broken. It was bleeding, and basically he did that because, or at least this is how I feel, and this is kind of what me and my father talked about, discussed a lot of times. So essentially, me and my cousin, Isaiah King, when we were 7, 8 years old, we kind of ducked off and got in the back of my dad's, I think it was a blue van, old van. And we were kind of touching each other inappropriately, whatever. And my dad caught us. Okay. And so he snatched us out the van. My dad, he gave me a whooping. He gave the little boy a whooping too, my cousin. And so after probably a couple of weeks later, we go to Bishop King's house because, you know, we miss our cousins. We're just going over there to have fun, whatever.
Okay.
And one time, like that night, I guess, you know, we were all up. It was probably like 10 o'clock at night. Like we should have been asleep.
Yeah.
And I just remember like we all went downstairs to use the bathroom. You know, we heard our uncle get up and we were like, oh crap, we need to be asleep. So we all ran up like the ladder to go into the attic because that's where all the beds are at and everything like that.
In the attic.
Yeah. Yeah. In the attic.
Yes, that sounds like some bull.
Yeah. And Abigail, she basically lied to my uncle, told him that I peed on the floor, and he basically like lifted me up by my arm and just whooped me real bad. And I just and that was all of them, like, you know, like Patrice, Vanessa, Abigail, Isaiah, Tevin, like we were all just in that room, and I was the only one who got a whooping. And so I just remember like my cousin Tevin and Treese and Nessa, they were joking because, you know, they were like, you know, you get the best sleep after a killing. That was the type of whooping that they described that's worse than like an actual whooping. So
the killing part.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like you get a whooping so bad to the point where you feel like you getting killed. And so definitely child abuse for sure, because you should not be unleashing like all that type of anger on a child, especially like a child that's like 7, 8 years old. That's crazy. So that's like my experience, like my direct experience with him. Even after that experience, I always tried to stay away from him. Like he just never was warm. He was very strict. I mean, he used to call us niggas. And
this is the pastor, right?
Yeah. Like we would be building that church, like free child labor, okay, building this church. And I mean, if we didn't move fast enough or something, he'll just call us niggas. He'll be like, we ain't got no sense. Like, it was just real abusive back in the day, for sure. I did not like going over there like I did.
So, what was that like to kind of like break you down mentally or something like that? Was he breaking all of the kids down mentally with hard labor? I'm not
sure like what he was doing, but because this is like they've been building that church for as long as I can remember. It used to be a very small church and it was just like a little shack at first. Then they started building around it, around like the small church. Then they knocked the small church down to like, I guess, expand the church even more. So now there's one side of the church and then there's another side of the church. Okay. And I mean, it's like, that's cool and all, but you got like 10-year-olds picking up 2x4s, you know, and literally like working. This is back-breaking work, like building a church and stuff. So, I mean, that's about as much as I can speak on with his situation. Now, the other things that he brought up, I want to get into that as well.
So that's on the other video, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's get into that video right now.
All right, guys, I want to bring in addition to the Contaminated Pulpit series regarding the King family up in Salisbury Church. They raided a couple of homes. They raided some businesses. And there's a lot of stuff that's going on. A lot of witnesses have come forward regarding this right here, and it is completely overwhelming. Right now, where it stands, from what I've received, there's a little over 40-plus witnesses or victims. Just to give you a brief recap, Bishop King, he's a bishop. Bishop King, several of his family members and other people that are connected to them are being accused of violating children, violating people who are adults now that were children, taking people's kids because he was an attorney, lying to the courts and everything, getting custody of people's kids. It's really, really deep, you guys. And the police are still wanting you to reach out if you want to tell your story. So now you already know about Michael Lee King, and in my other videos I talked about John King and Titus King.
Everything spoken here on out is allegedly.
And one of the bad things about this, they have children by their own children. They have children by their own family members. And I want to add in now Nathan King, and then you have Elvis Eugene King. But it doesn't stop there. But you have Telvin King and Daniel King. Several people have come forward regarding those two, as far as keeping it in the family, violating children. I have more that's going to come out. I'm still filtering through all the emails, inboxes, and all that stuff. But in the meantime, the lead investigator has this QR code right here. It's going to make it a lot easier because the lead investigator told me that their phone was just ringing off the hook nonstop. So here's a QR code. I want you guys to scan this right here. I'm going to leave it at the end for you also. Scan that QR code and everything. Tell your story. And they're going to keep you safe and they're going to keep you confidential, because I know about how a lot of people fear this family. Well, fear no more. And for those that are sitting up here with blinders on, don't want to believe this, wait till the DNA test comes back. You're going to find out they fathered children with their own children. They fathered children in their own family. There are families out here who have been broken apart because him and his attorney went in and took people's kids, even as recent when they took somebody's kids. And Michelle played a big part in that also. Don't let nobody fool you. But I'm going to bring you more as soon as I finish filtering through the rest of these messages and what the detectives have and what other people have. Let's get justice for all these families and believe them when they talk to you.
Yo, when I say my mind is like really blown, they got a QR code for witnesses to step up, man. That lets you know this is really, really serious. So you related to him?
So my father is married to their baby sister, Ruth King.
Okay.
And that's how I was able to, I'm basically in the heart of all of this. And so I do want to like get into just from start to finish of everything that I experienced with them, growing up with them.
So you was actually victimized by, I'm sorry to hear that, but yeah, go ahead, speak your truth.
Okay, so basically this all started when I was like 4 or 5 years old, back in like 2002, 2003, around that area. And that's when I was raped by Eric Jaime. He is the brother of one of the victims. Yeah. And I really want to believe that he was like a kid too, but I feel like he's much older than me. And for me to be 5 years old, and even if you were 13, you were coherent, like you knew what you were doing.
Exactly.
And but I don't know how old he was. I just remember like being at the bottom of the staircase at Michael King's house. Because my stepmother, she was probably, you know, chasing after my dad. Because my dad at the time was not, he just did not want to be loyal to my stepmom. Like, he was always cheating, always chasing in behind women. Like, my stepmom always had to, like, go find out where he was at. Yeah. So she would leave us at my uncle's house, Bishop King's house. And so I just remember, you know, Eric, he, like, walked up to me and he asked me, like, do I want something to drink? And I'm like, yeah. I'm thirsty, like, you know, we just here at this point. And I remember we walked into, like, the dining room, and, like, he pulled me under the dining table in the dining room. And I just remember, like, him holding both of my wrists, like, above my head, pulling my underwear down, and, like, basically pushing his penis inside of me. Yeah. Like, so.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I just remember, like, crying. Like, I remember him, like, muffling my face, like, trying to get me to be quiet. And as he was doing that, like, I couldn't breathe. Yeah. So I just kept, like, moving, because I'm just like, what is happening to me right now? And I remember, like, trying to close my legs, but because of how, like, heavy he was, I couldn't, like, close my legs. And I just remember, like, wiggling too much. And so I would try to scream, like as loud as I could. Yeah. And basically, like, I don't know how long that went on for. I just remember, like, my cousin Tevin and Patrice, like, coming downstairs, and he got up off of me. Yeah. And so I remember, like, pulling on my underwear, like, crying, wiping my eyes. And they were asking me, like, you know, you okay? Like, what's wrong? I didn't really say nothing. We just went back upstairs in the attic. And we stayed up there until my stepmom came and picked us up. And when she did come, I just remember her, you know, like, I asked her, like, what a dick was. And I just remember her, like, getting upset and was telling me, like, she gonna whoop me and that she was gonna, you know, tell my dad on me.
That's crazy. But, like, not to cut you off, right? I'm going to let you get right to it real quick. But that should have been the first thought. Like, if you're 5 asking what a dick is, you know what I'm saying? Where did you the parents should have want to know where you heard this from. Where did you get this from? First and foremost. I really hate you had to go through that. I just had to get that off my chest.
And that's what my thought was when I got older and I started, like, processing these things that did happen to me. I'm like, if my child said that, because I have 2 daughters. Yeah. So it's like, you know, I'm like, who taught you that, or where did you hear that from? Because now I need to get to the bottom of it, you know. But that was not her. That was not her first thing that she did. Like, I just remember us going home, and, you know, that was it. Like, And then it just kind of like faded to black. It was time to go to school in the morning, you know, that sort of thing. And then even though, you know, with Tevin, I'm going to speak on him too. Like, I think he was a kid. I think he was younger than Eric. So if I'm not mistaken, I know I was like maybe 6 or 7 when that started. And I think he was like 5th grade, maybe 6th grade, something like that. And like our encounters were super sexual as well. Like he would ask me to, he would ask me to do stuff to my little brother. And he'll teach me how to, you know, like,
Don't worry about it. You can speak. So whatever comes to mind, speak.
Yeah. He would, you know, teach me how to do other stuff like licking on a girl, like with my other cousins and stuff. And I just remember, like, I want to say that was between 6 and 9 when all of that was happening. Like, we basically did everything. We was dry humping, putting our mouths on each other, like, inappropriately. I mean, it was just super, super inappropriate for kids to be doing.
And he was coaching all of y'all?
Mm-hmm. Like, because, you know, he was watching porn. And, like, that was my first encounter with porn. I was, like, 5 years old when they first showed us that. And I just remember, like, what are they doing? It looked like it hurts. Like, you know? And it was just, like, what are we doing? You know? I mean, as you get older, that's what you think. It's like, what are we doing? And so, but being a kid, he kind of made it fun. It was, like, a game. And, I mean, now that I'm older, it kind of makes me think, like, what adult made you feel that way? Because only an adult would make it feel like a game, and then you would, you know, do that
Try to pass the game on.
Yeah, exactly.
It's learned behavior.
Mm-hmm. And so, you know, basically, like I said, he made us laugh, like, a lot while we were doing these things. It was a game. He never made us feel angry. Like, we never felt any anger or aggression towards him or from him either. So it was really hard for, I think, a lot of us to kind of look at him as an enemy. So, because, like I said, he was just a big brother, big cousin. Like, we felt safe enough to have those type of experiences with him. I mean, being that age, like, who do you really trust with that? Yeah. And then, but that's my encounter with Tevin. Now, with Daniel King that they just brought up, yeah, that was not so fun. There was times where, like, he would come over to my stepmom's house and he'll throw something at me, like a shoe or a book or something, just to get my attention. And, like, he would blare his eyes at me, like, come on. Like, and it just used to feel like I was in trouble. And he was, like, really aggressive. There would be times where, like, he'll use a knife or, like, the barbecue cooking tools and stuff, like the little pitchfork thing. And he would, like, poke that in my back and tell me, like, if you tell anybody, like, I'm going to tell them that you wanted to do it. And I can't even, like, I don't even think people realize, like, what that does to a child, where you, and then it's like your stepmom, she already don't really like you. Yeah. So it was like, I was going through a lot as a kid. And he never, like, put his penis on my genitalia. It was always, like, him putting his penis in my mouth, him, like, holding my nose, and then, like, putting my head against, like, the wall so I couldn't move. And so, and it was just like, he would always tell me to, like, suck it until the white stuff comes out. And I don't know how old he was at the time, but I'm assuming he had to be, like, a preteen or something. I'm assuming. But I don't know how old any of these kids were. But I know that they were not 18 or 19 to where if they were, you know, to go to court or something, they wouldn't be able to charge them, because a lot of this was child-on-child sexual assault. And so I just remember, like, so he would throw something at me, get my attention, and then he would take me to, like, the kitchen in my stepmom's house. And, like, behind the refrigerator, that's where he would do that at. So it's like the sink is right here, the fridge is right here. So we hid him, like, really well. Yeah. And he would, like, he did that a lot. Like, and there were just times where, like, my stepmom would drop us off at his uncle, like, his dad's house, like Uncle John's house. And that's when I really, like, couldn't escape for real, because it was just like, I can't even, like,
go to, because I'm
literally here. Yeah, like, I'm literally here. And so I do remember like going to Uncle John's house, and like I was able to get away from Daniel at the time, and he would try to like bribe me with sunglasses, like, come here, I'm gonna give you some sunglasses. And it's just like, nah, bro, like I don't even want to do that no more. Like it's weird. I don't like how that makes me feel. Like I'm uncomfortable, and part of me just feels like he had to been molested by like one of the uncles, because for that type of aggression to, you know, be, you know, evoking and getting passed down to like the next person, it that's what it's giving. And so my experience with Daniel was not fun. With Tevin, I mean, it wasn't fun either, but it was just like you just had this aura of we were safe though. Like that feeling like, okay, I can talk to him, I can feel safe. And like I said, I was like 7. So it's like, what? Like, but that's Daniel King, Tevin King, Eric Jaime. That's my little 3 situations that I had with them individuals. Now, as far as like all of these allegations about Michael King, Nathan King, Elvis King, which is Ebby, that his name is Ebby Jean, that's what they called him, and Titus King and John King, like them is all brothers. They all brothers. The only reason why I know most of what he's saying is true is because these things were confessed during like a heated debate at Bible study. I remember I was like probably 3rd grade, 4th grade, and we were at Bible study, and for some reason like they would not let Nathan King speak, and he was getting upset. My stepmom wasn't there, but my like Michael King was there, Angie King was there, Tashika was there, which that's Michelle. Okay. She was there, and like they just got into a crazy debate. I think Kathy was also there. That's one of the sisters as well. Like they were all there. We were having Bible study, and I just remember like it got so heated that Nathan King was like, that's why you're touching your daughter. Like all of it started coming out. They were like, you touching your daughter. You know, you got a daughter with Shell, and Tevin ain't even y'all's kid. Like it was a lot. Like he really basically just spilled the beans. And like there were other kids there too. Like first of all, Tanasia, like Shakira, Shavikia, like a lot of them were there too. These are kids that are not even like our cousins. These are like kids that were down the street from us. And so he basically just spilled all the beans, like, you know, like, their dad, like Vanessa Patrice, their dad, like Michelle's ex-husband, he's a pedophile.
Oh, like literally.
Yeah, like he's registered. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he's supposed to be like a pastor. But when he got out of jail, he married the girl. Basically, it was statutory rape, because I think the girl was like 16. Okay. And they basically told her mother, like, you need to press charges. Because, again, Michelle and Alonzo, they were married. So he basically stepped out on their marriage to go mess with this little girl. But that's just what they be doing, like. And so, and I remember also, too, when all of this came out, because that very next, like, couple of days later, like, probably that next night, we were at Bishop King's house, and my cousin Tevin, Abigail, Vanessa, Patrice, they were telling us stuff. Me and my sister, they were telling us, like, we got a recording of Bishop King touching Michelle. And they were like, we got to record it, but Bishop King, he deleted the video. And they were telling us, like, they wanted to run away. And we were like, okay, well, we're going to go with y'all. So, but, you know, as kids, you're not really thinking of, you're just not thinking. So that's how I found out about everything that he's talking about. That came from the people that are actually in the King house. So that's how I found out about all of that. That's how a lot of us like just found out about so much stuff we probably shouldn't even knew about, for real. And then cause like Ebby Jean, he was also touching one of the little girls that were not our cousins. So
they never said nothing to nobody. Y'all couldn't vent to nobody because everybody know what's going on, basically.
Pretty much, and they basically swept everything under the rug. Like, we couldn't talk about stuff. I mean, even with my stepmom, like, there would be times where I would try to, like, talk to her, and it was very hard because she always felt like I was being disrespectful to her, or, like, I was always, you know, acting out. But it's just, like, one, you know, I miss my mom, like my bio mom. I didn't get to see her like that. And it was just me having to deal with being molested and touched on a lot. And it's like, she wasn't going to listen no way. Because I remember when this had all came out and Tevin had told my stepmom, like, oh, well, TALAYSHIA, she was like, you know, sucking Michael's penis. That's my little brother. And the first thing she did was she literally called me to the room and was like, if I find out that you sucked my son's like penis, I'ma beat you. And I was just like, and she used to tell me like, oh, God is gonna tell me. And I'm like, so God can tell you that I'm doing stuff weird to my brother, but he can't tell you that, you know, something
happening to you.
Yeah, and that's what made me really like not like God for a long time. And so yeah, like all of that came out. Angie King, she literally was telling us like, y'all need to forget it, like just take it out of your mind. And it was like, take what out of our mind? This man literally just told us that you know that Michael King is sleeping with your daughter. And so like that's that whole thing. And then like I remember after that, they just acted like nothing. It just was normal. Like we never talked about it again. Now sometimes me and my cousins, like we would talk about it. And there was a lot of stuff that like my other girl cousins went through that they probably are not gonna want to talk about just because I don't know if they ready for that yet. Yeah. And but it's not just this stuff either. It's not just the sexual abuse for kids or the physical abuse or even the mental abuse. It's also elderly abuse. Like so their mom, Annie King, she had Alzheimer's and dementia. Yeah. And I remember like they would push her, they would push her or shove her to the point where like she might fall. And it was just like, I guess they didn't really know how to handle her aggression because she was aggressive. Like,
with dementia, she was aggressive.
Yeah, like there are times where like she'll fight or she'll spit on you and stuff like that. And some of the like, I think they just tried to do the best they could, I feel, but that is abuse. I don't care what nobody say. Like you could do better. It was times where like they just would not give her medication. They would not bathe her. Sometimes they wouldn't even feed her. Like
That's
it was
crazy work.
Yeah, like, and she just had dementia. Like she could not remember anything. Like we would try to talk to her, like me and my sister, and my stepmom tried to like help out every now and again, but she was with Nathan. She lived with Nathan. If you go to that house, it's probably burnt down now because I remember they told us it was like it got burnt down. But excuse me. Okay. I remember going over to Granny house and it was just roach infested. It was filthy. It was dirty. Like their bathroom had a freaking hole in it to the point where like if she went in there, she could fall through the freaking hole. Like it was just bad all the way around. And that's it. Like literally all of that was just terrible. And then I remember there was a Sunday service we went to, and Granny, she would like when their dad used to go to church, she'll yell out like, "Daddy, give me some money." Like, cause she, in her mind, she like 5 years old or something. And her, their dad was her ex-husband. Okay. So she would yell out to him and be like, "Give me $1," like interrupting the service or whatever. And like this man, Michael King, literally pointed at her and was like, "Shut up, demon." Like, and it was just like this lady got dementia, bro. Like she is not a demon possessed. Yeah. She got dementia. And so, and he was like, "Shut your mouth, devil," like in the name of Jesus. And I just remember, and I just remember, like, as a kid, I'm like, whoa, like that's kind of wild, like So she literally had Alzheimer's and dementia. Like I don't know why anybody would think that was some type of demonic possession. Like that was, to me, I feel like the King family, all of them are a little bit like throwed off a little bit, because when they are in the real world, they don't present themselves that way. So like, for instance, when Bishop King would call us niggas and stuff, when he get around churches that are in Charlotte, he joking with us, laughing with us, but it's like You literally just called us names and like literally you disrespect us all the time. You talk to us like we're dirt. And even when I went down there recently for camp, because my stepmom was like, I'm going to give you these clothes, but like your kids got to come to camp with us. I'm like, all right, well, I'm not leaving them by themselves, so I'm going to come. And at the time I didn't have a car, but we were able to get down there. And I was like, okay, I could see what y'all trying to do with the kids, like keep them out of trouble. But, like, y'all are actually, like, violating the kids.
So, not to cut you off, but is the camp something that they do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
They've been doing this for, like, 30 years.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, this camp thing, like, it's like a church thing. And, like, they'll get tents. They'll teach us how to, like, shoot bows and arrows and stuff like that. It's like, on the outside, it looks good. But behind closed doors, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, like that mental abuse, that emotional abuse, that like it was real bad when we were growing up. When I was there last time, there was a little boy. He was like 3 years old. He started crying. And because of how he was crying, like Tashika literally picked this little boy up, put him across her leg and popped him and was like, you need to shut your mouth. And it's like, he's 3, bro. Like pick him up and like, you know, get him to calm down. Like, why are you hitting him? You just gonna make him cry even more. I don't know whose kid that was. But they always just had random children, like, at their church. The parents nowhere to be found.
With no parents.
Yeah, and, like, a lot of the parents be unfit. That's how they doing it.
So it's basically like, I need some party time. I'm going to drop them off. I don't care what happens.
Yeah,
okay.
Them parents don't care about their kids. And, like, so, yeah, like, I'm going to get back on topic. But, yeah, that's kind of how that went. So, for me, I escaped it by running away from home. I was, like, 13. I took my dad's book of quarters, went to Walmart, called my mom from the payphone and was like, yeah, come get me. Because the night before, I called her on my dad's phone and was like, all right, Mom, this is what we about to do. Because I was tired of it. I'm like, if I can just run away, get away, then okay, I'm good. So that's what I did. I called my mom and she'll tell you too. Like, yeah, she basically ran away from home. I had to wait like 40 minutes in the Walmart bathroom waiting on my mom. Had my bicycle, put the bike in the back of the Tahoe, and went to Winston-Salem. My dad woke up, called my mom. You got my daughter? Where's she at? Gone.
But did your mother believe you when you told her?
I didn't even tell her.
You ain't told her? No.
Like, I just got out of there. I was like, yeah, because at that moment, it was just all I was thinking about was getting away. So once I got away, I was able to go to school. I was able to wear pants. I was happier. My grades were up. So it was just like, I didn't really have to tell her for real. Like, my life got better.
Yeah. Amen. Well, amen. That's a wild journey, though. Let me ask you this question, because I know you probably don't like keep up with like the Diddy and the Cassie trial and all that other stuff. Because I've heard certain females, not to get off topic, but, you know, dealing with rape, like how Cassie says the freak offs, and, you know, she wasn't comfortable, you know, and or Diddy made her do it. You hear a lot of women, some men say it too, that like, you know, okay, she might have done the freak off, but the second time, the third time, the fourth time, oh, she wanted it. I mean, how does that make you feel? Like, I don't know if you heard that before or somebody that came in, because I'm pretty sure, like, even like you got to be strong to put this type of story out, because I know you're not afraid, right? I commend you on that. But even with like this, if I come on here on this podcast and I say something, I'm gonna be judged. Yeah. Somebody has an opinion about something or something like that. You know, I just want to hear from you. Like, because I know you couldn't. I know you felt like you was probably scared and you couldn't tell nobody, because everybody was like in the whole, like they was a conglomeration of this, of the bullshit. Yeah.
So there's a thing called coercion, you know, and it's basically where people pressure you until you give in. Yeah. Like, a no is not enough sometimes, or even like punching them in the face is not enough sometimes. And so, especially when you're in an environment where it doesn't really produce like your, how can I say, like, it's even worse when you're in an environment that doesn't really have like open communication anyway. So that coercion, like, yeah, please, baby, just do it. And it's like, nah, I'm not comfortable. Like, even with that, like, people can push your boundaries. And that's what happens a lot of times. Like, so even with Cassie, I mean, I'm not really following that whole thing, but just hearing that, it's like, there is a such thing as called coercion. Like, it ain't necessarily force. It's like, it's subtle, like pushing the boundaries, you know? And then it's just like, it's the same thing with guys. Like, if you are a provider and you tell your girl you're not really comfortable paying her bills, but she tries to use like her emotionality to manipulate you to do it, how you gonna feel? It's like, you're not gonna feel comfortable paying her bill. You're not comfortable. So if you ain't comfortable, you ain't comfortable. But even if you do it the first time, that's just a true testament of how much you love that person to try. But then it's like, just because you consented to the first time does not mean that's like a blanket, you know, of consent forever. Like, you got the right to say no, and you got the right to say, all right, I don't want to do this no more. And if people push past that, then it's like, all right, you got to kind of decide if you want them in your life or not. If they can't respect that, then yeah, it's time to go.
Well said. Well said. So right now this case is ongoing?
Yeah, like last I've heard, it's still ongoing. There are still people coming. Like, people that I didn't even know went through this. Like, speaking to some of the victims, I'm like, I don't even know you. Like, this was like before my time. I wasn't
so
even
it's older.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
wow.
It's older people. And it's like, whoa, like y'all way older than me. So the fact that these are people who are older than me, like, I'm 27. And like I said, this been going on for like 30 plus years. So people that were born before me coming forward and telling their story. And it's just like, that is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. And so now everybody is just kind of like, I think it's one of those things where it's like, because like I said, for years, I've been talking about this since I was 13.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it's like, this is the first time that it's finally catching traction and it's finally like coming out.
Okay, see, my timeline was also, you got away at 13. Mm-hmm. You spoke about it since then, but now at 27, now this is finally hitting. Okay. Wow. I think you could say the power of social media. Social media, if used correctly, you know what I'm saying? Because news travels so fast, social media. All it takes is a share or repost, and next thing you know, something is trending. I hate it have to be on this topic, this level, but at least you as well as the rest of the victims can get some type of relief or, you know, some type of answers for the things that happen to y'all.
Because, I mean, like I said, this has been years. Like I said, me and one of my sisters, we were just talking about how this family, we talk about this every year. Every year we talk about it, and nothing happens. So I think, like, when people try to be insensitive and say, like, oh, why are you talking about it now? You could have told it when you were 7, or you could have told it. And it's like how insensitive do you have to be, or how, like, you know, unaware do you have to be to not really understand, like, all of the moving parts in that whole thing. Yeah. You know, especially when your kid, like, doesn't feel safe to even come and talk.
Well, see, that's what I was saying by the question that I asked you, because, you know, like they said, why didn't you tell when you were 7? Why didn't you tell when you was 12? The same way Bill Cosby, they didn't say nothing back then, but they saying stuff now. Yeah. Or, you know, or people that say that, oh, there's just a woman trying to bring our black men down. You get what I'm saying? But all black men ain't got, you know, some of them is perverts. I'm going to just be honest. You know, like, now, I don't know these people. You know, so I'm not really familiar with everything in Salisbury. But, you know, that's just the truth. You got honest people, and then you got some people that's like wolf in sheep's clothing. You know,
pretty much. I mean, and, you know, you can't really tell who is a predator. Like, they look like you and me. They act like they love kids. And it's like, it's hard to tell. You just got to really, really be vigilant and really, really be careful, because people, they pretend really well, you know. And even with all of this stuff that I've gone through and been through, I really just have to thank God for, like, keeping my mind, you know, and, like, really keeping my heart soft, because I could hate these people, but I don't.
I was going to say, you're not bitter. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can still talk. You know, I know there's times where, you know, the emotions might get the best of you, but for the most part, you know, you still have a beautiful smile that you show, you know, so I salute you on that.
Yep. Even with my dad, basically, because when I was 13, my dad, he was like, you're crazy, you're lying, nobody did that to you. And I'm like, you're my dad.
Yeah, I'm about to ask you, how did that make you feel?
That hurt me. I felt betrayed. And even now, when I asked him for the support, he was like, you know, I'm not going to be a part of it, because when you basically betrayed me by telling your stepmom on me about my infidelity, like, I'm like, what?
Tit for tat.
Yeah, like very, very childish, very like emotionally immature. You know, this is your daughter. And I told him, I'm like, look, if my grandfather was alive.
Something would have shook, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, already.
And so it's just like, you know, that was just me calling out to him to be like his father, you know, because my granddaddy ain't play them games.
Yeah.
And the stories that I've heard from, like, my aunties and my uncles, like, they let me know, like, if granddad was alive, like, he would have held my hand. He would have told me, it's okay, I'm going to stand up for you. I'm going to defend you. But the fact that my dad didn't rise to that occasion off of some BS, it's just, it made me feel some type of way. But I had to understand that I got a father in heaven that loves me eternally. You know?
Amen.
So my mortal father, I can't expect him to be like God. You know, he imperfect, and so am I.
That's a strong ass statement. Mm-hmm. That's a strong statement. You got a lot of wisdom for 27 years of age.
I try. It's nothing but God. The book of Proverbs will do it.
You right about that.
Yep.
I love Proverbs.
Yep.
Definitely. I got to take a quick break real quick to shout out our sponsor, Jharris, Jharris Investments. Y'all go on that, click that link. The description is going to be in the bottom. Jharris Investments, safe, secure, affordable housing, building up the community one house at a time. Hit them up, you know what I'm saying? Get your referral fee. You know, somebody selling the house, you want to sell a house, guaranteed money in the bank. You know, let's go. Yeah, so what do you got going on now that you know, a lot of, I'm not going to say it's behind you, but I know you are probably in a better space in life right now. So
yeah, I am. Basically, like, it took me such a long time, because when I was 13, I was in High Point with my stepmom, and I was going to school there, and I started, like, looking stuff up, because I'm like, you know, I always wondered, like, what happened to me as a kid, because I always felt like, well, it didn't feel normal. So I would search it up, and then I would find out, like, oh, this was illegal. Like, this should have never happened. And so then it was me trying to, like, reach out to find people to talk to about it, and me crying about it all the time. And I just felt like for years crying about it and just feeling so hurt and going through so much pain, and not having, like, my dad to support me on it, or my stepmom to just, excuse me, I almost cussed. You could
have let it out, get it off your chest.
I almost cussed. But it was just, you know, her not apologizing and just saying, like, you know what, you were a child who didn't understand, like, what was going on between your mother, me, and your father. You didn't really, you know, nobody got a chance to really sit you down and explain these things to you. And then in the midst of that, you were being molested and touched on by people in my family. Like, if my stepmom just would have, like, apologized to me and kind of, like, really just showed some type of acknowledgement that, hey, I wasn't trying to be a disrespectful child to you. Like, I was going through a lot mentally, emotionally, and physically at that. And it's just, why couldn't you see that? Because you used to work for a place called Family Services that focuses on children who were going through things like me.
Yeah.
So you can extend them love, but you couldn't give me that love. Like, I always felt rejected by my stepmom. I always felt like she didn't love me. And I mean, I don't blame her, right? Like, here's this man, he got a kid with another woman that he's still seeing sometimes. You know, you marry my stepmom. Like, what is she supposed to do?
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with you.
And it doesn't, you know? Right? It doesn't. And even to this day, I feel like I would still protect the child, even if their dad wouldn't be the best to me. And I try to like reconcile with it, but I just can't. Like, everybody used to paint her as this, like, perfect person, but it's like she imperfect like everybody else. And I just wish that she would, like, apologize and just be like, you know, I understand where you coming from. I didn't mean to be that type of person to you. Because, you know, they, like, with them type of parents that's born in the 60s, they always want to blame the child for everything. It's like, literally, you the reason why that child is probably acting out. Like, your parenting skills is a direct reflection of your child's behavior. So if you ain't really being a parent and you ain't really showing up, then that child don't really have a choice but to
go somewhere else, find
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But you got a very beautiful spirit, you know, and the fact that you're not bitter about it just is a testament to that, though. I salute your strength. I really do. I always said it to me. Somebody could say, or they can judge me for whatever, but I always said that women are stronger than men. You know, y'all can definitely deal with and handle a lot more than we can. You get what I'm saying?
I don't know.
I got to say that because
I think it's like, I think with women, yeah, I do agree. We can't handle a lot, but I don't think a lot of people recognize a lot of the pain and a lot of the sacrifice that men go through. Like, everybody knows about a mother's love, how it can save and it can do all these things, but a lot of people don't talk about a father's sacrifice.
I mean, they don't. I mean, we had about 1 or 2 podcasts, not pertaining to that particular subject, but we spoke about it. But, you know, that just like it goes back from tradition, passed on. Men are not supposed to talk about the pain. They're not supposed to show their emotions, you know, and you just deal with it. And it's even to this day. But now the generations are different, and I could say that some of these young men are more emotional, you know, and they're so hard on themselves that they start dealing with depression and things of that nature, and it gets overlooked. Or the guys that's like me, 80s babies, is looking like, man, you soft as shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, tighten up, excuse my language, but, you know, Gemini.
Nah, I get it. I get it.
So,
like, even with these young men right here that I experienced these highly sexual encounters with, I really do believe that a lot of them were probably molested or touched on inappropriately. And to try to come to terms with that, it's like, because, you know, they, like, the last statistic that I saw for black women, it was like 80% of black women have been raped or molested before the age of 18.
I believe it.
That was like the last statistic that I saw. And that was a report.
Yeah, that's like, not what's not reported.
Yeah, and then, I mean, I can only imagine how much more isn't reported with our sons. Yeah. And so that's why, you know, because I've seen stories where our young boys, they get in the streets and they got big homies that are homosexual, and they'll try to get him to smoke something, and they'll turn him out. And it's like, what are we doing? It's a whole lot of predators and things like that, and it's a lot going on. It is. It's a lot going on right now.
2025 is unreal. Not just 2025. It's just the every year that passes, it gets more and more weird.
Yeah, very. And it's like, and it's crazy because it's like, it's already been weird. We're just getting exposed to it now at this point. And I don't know how we're all going to manage that or handle it, because it's like, y'all dealing with stuff that we didn't deal with back in the day. Like, that's kind of how, like, my dad, 1962, that's when he was born. That boy, he was born on the tail end of the civil rights movement. It's like, to be dealing with that. And then, you know, my grandfather, he was only making like $2.13. He was born in 1914. So imagine, like, all that time. And they had different struggles back then. Yeah. Every generation got its struggles. Its ups and its downs. It's going to be like that from the head to the end of time. You get what I'm saying? Like, you got to look at these kids now. The people that's out there that's doing the most wild and juveniles now. You know what I'm saying? 12, 13. They walking around with the guns just as big as a man that's 30. Yeah, know? And it's getting even more crazy. Like, I mean, if you look at our economy, like, everybody has to be working 2 to 3 jobs. How you supposed to raise a child and you got to work 2 to 3 jobs just to take care of it? You got your kid is 11 years old. They can stay home, make some oodles and noodles, but they're not being supervised. They're not being raised. They're not at this point you kind of cohabitating with your kid.
Yeah, I mean, but you got like how you said those kids was there without their parents, unsupervised. You see it over and over in the hood. You know, ladies want to go turn up. They trying to find a babysitter. They don't give a damn. When they let the older sibling watch the younger siblings, don't know what's going on in the house, whether they having their own party or not. You get what I'm saying? It's just about, I just feel like it's a mentality, like that city girl mentality. Shout out to the city girls. I ain't no disrespect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't
Like,
trying to
have
say
your
like that,
fun, but,
yeah,
you know.
have some class with it too, have
Yeah.
some dignity with it
For
too.
sure,
You know what I'm
for
saying?
sure.
But I did want to ask, have you anybody like the males reached out to you and apologized to you?
Nah, they haven't. I don't think that they will. I don't think they got the strength to do it, because it's kind of like, because like I said, even I was, you know, even at that age, I had touched some of my siblings like inappropriately. And when we talked about it, it was like, you know, I'm sorry that that's what happened. You know, I wish I was a little older.
Yeah.
But, you know, being like 7, you know, being like 8 and 9 and not really like understanding like what you're actually doing and not having like the parental supervision, because literally like those parents, all they really wanted to do was chase in behind men and women. They didn't really want to be parents for real. And so that's why I'm so big on like with my own daughters, you know, like staying with them. Yeah, I can go on a date every now and again, but it's like I got kids, like they priority.
Yeah.
So
number one.
Yeah, I just don't feel like it's just not that important, you know. And then it's like being a single mom, like being a single dad, single mom, it's like you already got to deal with a whole nother individual. You got 2 individuals, 1 to 3 individuals you already got a parent. And then it's like you gonna add another individual, somebody who ain't even sharing your blood. Yeah, no, that's a little bit too much for me to even deal with. So that's why I'm just like, relationships, it can wait. Like I want my kids to know that I was there and not have to feel like, well, mommy, we never saw you. You know, you were always working or you was always dating and da-da-da. Nah, my kids need me more than that guy wants me or needs me. So
you be saying, talk your talk. Talk your talk. I'm sitting here learning. You got some fly shit to say.
Yeah, like, I wish I could talk about so much of this stuff. Like, but
I mean, you definitely can.
Also, I wanted to touch on what he said about Michael King being like a lawyer. So he used to be a lawyer, but he was disbarred.
Okay.
I want to say it was like for misappropriation of funds. He had a client that I think he was an attorney for, and I think he just like he used the funds for himself instead of like the case.
Yeah.
And but don't quote me on that. I just know that he was disbarred. He is no longer an attorney. And there are just a lot of stuff as far as like them having kids with each other. I don't know nothing about that. I feel like that could have been a rumor or something, but all I really know is that yes, there was a lot of like molestation going on. There was a lot of raping going on, a lot of just violation of kids going on. I mean, the way they treated their mom, their own mom, and then their dad too. Like their dad, he basically died, and they nobody would take him to dialysis but my dad.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know, and it's like, how my dad, he not even blood to y'all, and he taking y'all father to dialysis. So it's a lot of stuff that like, that's why I said like nobody's perfect, but out of all this, what I truly want is for these people to apologize for the pain that they caused, for like just y'all really ruined some kids, you know, like for a long time I was scarred. Very scarred. Like couldn't trust nobody, didn't want to be around my own family because they just wouldn't trust me. Like they wouldn't trust me with the truth. It's like I had to carry that by myself for a long time. And it used to make me so resentful. And it was just like, why do y'all not love me enough to like stand up for me and defend me?
True.
And, you know, if I think about it too much, I feel some type of way. And it's like my flesh gets stirred up and I start thinking things that I don't want to think. I get in a danger zone. And it's like, all right, let's forgive. At the end of the day, let's forgive, let's let go. Not because they deserve it, but because I want to be free. Yeah. And so even to this day, like I pray that my cousins, the ones who were victims, I pray that they get the strength to come through and talk about the things that they going through. I pray that they get to, you know, just a point in their life where y'all don't have to defend these people. You know, they family, but they shouldn't have never did that to y'all.
Yeah, of course.
And it's like, I just hope that they can kind of look and have like a come to Jesus moment, you know, and really understand like, yeah, what happened to y'all, that should have never happened. Yeah. It should have never happened. And I know y'all love y'all family. Like, you know, I get it. But somebody needs to be held accountable. Somebody needs to apologize. Somebody needs to tell the truth. And that's just where we at with all of that.
Okay. Amen. Well, I really appreciate you coming on this platform and sharing your story. It takes a lot of courage. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of strength, for real, for real. The courage is there, but the strength, like, it's very draining. Like, talking about it and having to revisit them emotions again, revisit them memories, like, it's very draining. It's tiring, and it kind of just... It's like you release it every time, but it's like, whew, it's still, like a workout.
Yeah, still reliving it. Yeah. Well, I know you got a message for them, so I'm going to let you do your thing in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and close this segment on now.
All right.
So we got to say goodbye.
Okay.
TALAYSHIA be right back with a message for y'all ladies, though.
All right.
Peace.
This is Crazy Work Podcast. Let's talk about it.